Good day, dear viewer, and welcome to On the Road to the Forum. Today, we are delighted to receive Mrs. Jane Yeboah, Deputy Resident Representative of UNDP in Niger. Mrs. Jane, thank you for coming and welcome to the program. So tell us, how does this third edition differ from the previous one, and what new feature will participants discover?
This Youth Connect Sahel, it's a game changer. We started in 2021, Youth Connect Sahel in Senegal. That was the first, it was a dialogue to create a forum in which youth could discuss 10 countries together. 2025 in N'Djamena, Chad, we then formalized Youth Connect Sahel. As you know, it is linked to the Youth Connect Africa, which has been a successful forum led by the President Paul Kagame himself. But in 2026, Niamey Youth Connect Sahel is a game changer, and I'll tell you why. First, from this forum in Niger, Niger's Youth Connect Sahel is the platform where we actually institutionalize it as a regional platform, not just bringing youth together. The previous ones were dialogue. This one, we are coming out with a governance charter. Now you're going to have a regional charter that defines not just the platform, but what youth can expect. The second game changer difference in this is the solutions that it is bringing. It's not just talking and dialogue. Young people are tired of talking. They want action. This is where they can meet investors. They can have solutions. They can connect their ideas to financing opportunities. And therefore, we are bringing in not just the United Nations systems, but we have coming to Niger, you're bringing investors, you're bringing entrepreneurs, you're bringing regional institutions, you're bringing economic actors that are here to look at startups and say, this is what we can do for you. It's linked, of course, to the entire theme, which is on sovereignty, on economic resilience, and of course, addressing the security challenges. And lastly, I think what makes Youth Connect Sahel in Niamey, Niger different is the fact that there's also going to be a regional hackathon. Now that's different. A regional hackathon basically is going to look at the innovations that young people are going to bring and leave this hackathon with investors, clear, concrete solutions. And honestly, I'm so much looking forward to this event, because it's not just talk. Now we are moving to action.
Thank you, Madam Jen. So as you say, it's not just talk. And how does the UNDP plan to mobilize partners to ensure that the commitments made during the forum do not remain mere declaration?
That's actually a very good question. And maybe I'll turn it around a bit, because as UNDP, our mandate is development. We are the premier UN organization on development. And what we do is translating government national priorities into concrete development solutions. And this we have been doing even before the forum. The first part is basically not, as I said, not just coming to dialogue. Dialogue is fantastic. But taking these national priorities, if you look at the Sahel today, the Sahel says we are refounding our very core tenets. Now, when you talk about refoundation and you bring it to the forum, it boils down to economic development. It boils down to resilience. It boils down to saying, how do you move those ideas? How do you finance them? And we're talking about indigenous financing. What are the mechanisms that will accompany said financing? What are the innovations that are homegrown, not innovations that are necessarily imported? They are not bad, they're good. But then again, when it's homegrown, Sahelian based, and this is some of the innovations that we are basically bringing. How does UNDP ensure that the outputs of this forum will not just stay at talk? One, I think, is because this forum is now the institutionalization of the Youth Connect Sahel. The second part is the partners that are working with it. We're coming up with a structured way of following up on the commitments made. Private sector is not waiting for, a mechanism as it is. They are investing in what they believe is profitability, what they believe is viable. And that is why we have mobilized varied partners, national governments from the 10 countries, and we actually have other countries that are not Sahel that are also joining, which I think is fantastic because it's about Africa. We've mobilized development financing institutions, research institutions, universities, and coming together to say, what can we do? How do we translate the opportunities that young people, they themselves, not just want, but they have also curated into commitments and solutions? And that is what we're looking at doing.
Thank you, Madam Jan. For this forum, we talk so much about the youth will benefit some opportunities and partners, but how can we ensure that young people are not just the beneficiaries of the forum, but also active contributors to its success?
I think as UNDP, we do not see young people as beneficiaries. And the proof of concept is that right from the initial stages of this platform, young people have been the curators and the designers of Youth Connect Sahel in Niger. We have worked with the Ministry of Youth, and we have worked with the National Council of Youth, and the youth are at the center of the creation of Youth Connect Niger, of Youth Connect Sahel. And also as UNDP, when we talk about youth, youth is actually heterogeneous. And so young people are not looking necessarily for dropouts or handouts. They want opportunities and they have solutions, they have ideas. So for us, they are part of the entrepreneurs, they are part of the investors, they are part of the startups, they are part of the hackathons. And beyond the 3 days, we are taking these 3 days and integrating them into the regional platforms, regional programs, and even national programs that as UNDP we're working with the government on, and that we curate and work and implement with young people. I do not think we talk about beneficiaries. Young people really are the future and they are the leaders, and that is really how as UNDP we work with them.
Thank you, Mrs. Jane. And with those inspiring words from Mrs. Jane Yeboah, Deputy Resident Representative of UNDP, we come to the end of this edition. Thank you for watching and see you very soon.